Guys, good afternoon to you. This is a wild situation to see from the air. We reported earlier that the FAA grounded our Fox News drones. We cannot fly those well. The troopers with Texas DPS are kind enough to let us go up in their helicopter with them to get a look at the situation at this bridge right now. Take a look to 11,000 migrants Mexico into Del Rio right here, and they are waiting underneath the international bridge, waiting to be processed by Border Patrol. Look at the mass of people down there. This time 2 days ago, there were just over 4,000 people. There are now upwards of 11,000. We are talking nearly a tripling of the numbers in just 48 hours or so. You can get a real good perspective from the air right here of how many people are constantly streaming in. Our pilot's going to take us up this dirt path a little bit here so you can see why this crowd here just keeps getting so much bigger. These are mostly Haitian immigrants, but take a look at this as we move up the Rio Grande right here. That Mexican town that you're looking across the river, that is Ciudad Acuña. That is the Mexican city where all these migrants are gathering. And you can see they're using this dam right here to walk across the Rio Grande and enter the United States illegally. They then use a dirt path that's right below us, and they stream into the international bridge area. We are talking thousands of people showing up every single day here. The problem is what's happening, the reason why they're all congregated underneath that bridge is Border Patrol doesn't have enough agents to process these folks. They're completely overwhelmed. Their holding facilities are completely over capacity. Ryan, take a look there. You got more people crossing the Rio Grande right there coming through this dirt. This is non-stop, guys. This is a non-stop trail of migrants who are crossing the Rio Grande in multiple areas here. We're going to have a pretty wild shot coming up to the Rio Grande right here in a moment. This is a steady line of hundreds of people. Brian, I don't know if you can pan up there into the Rio Grande. So look at that. That is a steady trail of hundreds of people crossing from Mexico as we speak right now, arriving into the United States illegally. Wow, that is a lot of people down there. And what we've been noticing is these folks are allowed to go back and forth between the United States and Mexico. There are no Border Patrol agents down there. There are no immigration agents on the Mexican side. It almost looks like it's a water park down there. People are playing in the water, just going back and forth between the United States. We're heading back over to the bridge now where you can see this is where they're walking to. And this situation is completely deteriorating. Several Border Patrol sources who are on the ground working that bridge down there tell me that this situation is, quote, out of control. They need help. They say there are not even enough porta potties or food or anything down there to house all these people. You can see they're now setting up tents. They've got their laundry hanging up. This is literally turning into almost some sort of it looks like a large refugee camp that is being built essentially underneath an international bridge right here in the United States. And the problem is Border Patrol sources and City of Del Rio sources are telling us they're hearing there are upwards of 10,000 more migrants who are on the way right now. And that we see why they're saying that, because if we can go over the Mexican neighborhood here in a moment, what you're going to see is in Ciudad Acuña, we're watching a bunch of taxi cabs pull up in a neighborhood and dropping off these migrants. We're going to show that to you in a moment here when we get over it, but it's pretty wild to see. There are multiple spots at the Rio Grande here where hundreds of people are crossing over constantly. We're going to pass over on the left side here in a moment, but guys, this is what we were looking at with our Fox drone before it was grounded. So again, I want to thank these Texas DPS troopers for letting us up here get this perspective. We're going to be approaching this Mexican neighborhood now, and what you're going to see off to a left here, Brian, if we can eventually. Okay, so what you look at here is there's people on the other side of the river, and then off to the right, I can't get the perfect angle, but there is a neighborhood down in there where there are a constant stream of taxi cabs pulling up, vans, taxi cabs, and migrants are just getting out with all of their gear, and they're crossing this dam here, walking right across the Rio Grande, and you can see this happening in real time, guys. I mean, there are hundreds of people down there going back and forth, and they are all walking over to that international bridge. And we've seen Border Patrol bringing bus loads in and bus loads out of migrants, trying to take them to other holding facilities in the area, but they're not making a dent in these numbers. The last numbers we've been told are at least 10,500 people underneath that bridge. Guys, it is incredible to see this perspective up here. We hear the administration say the border is closed. There's extreme progress being made. This does not look like a closed border from the air. This is hundreds of people streaming in every minute here, and they're all going to this international bridge. Pretty remarkable footage from up here, guys. We'll send it back to you.
You know, Bill, when you look at the number of people who are there under the bridge, it would rival a lot of small Texas towns. And as you mentioned, 10,000 more on the way. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has tried to close off 6 border crossings, but closing the border crossing doesn't really do much or have much of an effect if they're walking across the Rio Grande.